My mom went and bought me a computer. She spent every dollar she had to get me a computer so I could have something to do during the summer. And it was one of the best days of my life. So immediately I went home, I connected my computer to the internet, I went online, and I found dozens and dozens of websites about the X-Files. It was amazing. And I thought, there must be people who want to talk about the X-Files with me. So I went and I searched for chat rooms. And I found something called IRC, or Internet Relay Chat. And I went into a chat room and I said, hey, who wants to talk about the X-Files? And someone said, get out. No, I just want to chat. He says, you have 10 seconds to get out of this chat room. I said, no. 10 seconds later, my brain computer crashed. The computer my mom spent every penny she had to get that day. And I freaked out. I had no idea what to do. I pulled the power out. I waited 20 minutes. Sweat going down my face. I plugged it back in. And thankfully, everything was okay. And as the adrenaline was just going through my body, pumping through my veins, I thought, that was the coolest thing ever. How can I do that? And I spent the rest of my life trying to figure out, how do I do that? How can I understand that? How can I prevent that? And I quickly learned that he was using something called Windows. And this was a program that you could turn off someone else's computer. You don't even need to know who they are. From the internet, you can do this. And it seemed so powerful, so intoxicating. And from then on, I just continued down this path of how can I control the computer? How can I use it? And I spent a long time playing games. So I played Counter-Strike a ton. And I remember one day, that information is everywhere. I was playing, and I heard footsteps going from the right side to my left. I didn't see anyone. I knew it was an enemy. And I thought for a moment, there must be an enemy behind me going from my right to the left. But if the footsteps are playing from this speaker to this speaker, that must mean there's positional information about the enemy. That information is going from that person's computer over the internet to my computer. How can I see that? And once I figured out how I could actually look at the packets, I could look inside of Counter-Strike's memory, I could see where everyone was. And I could actually do anything. I could make the walls clear if I wanted. And from then, I could do everything. I became invincible. It was amazing. From there, I thought, okay, there's so many other things I can do. And I then started going on a website called MySpace. MySpace.com. This was in 2005. It was the #1 website in the world. It's a social network. And as I was on there, I thought, this is cool. You know, kind of like Facebook, you have friends and everything. And I wanted more friends. So I figured out a way that if someone visits my profile, they would add me as a friend. And I thought, that's cool. What else can I do? And I thought, okay, if someone visits my profile and adds me as a friend, I can probably modify their profile and make their profile say, but most of all, Sammy is my hero. So that's kind of funny, but not enough people were visiting my profile. So I thought, okay, if I can make you add me as a friend and add me as a hero, I can actually take the code and put it on your profile. So when someone visits your profile, they add me as a friend and add me as a hero. I thought, okay, in a month or so I'll have 100 or 200 friends, and that'll be funny, and I can show off to my friends. After I went to sleep, I woke up to about 2,000 new friends. Within the day, over 1 million people had been infected. Over 1 million people added me as a friend and added Sammy as my hero to their profile. MySpace had to shut down temporarily, and it fell off. And 6 months later, I was raided by the Secret Service. A dozen agents came to my house, went through everything, took everything I had that was digital. They took my phone, and they left. And 6 months later, after going to court, I was told that I was not allowed to touch a computer for the rest of my life. Ever again. And that was my life. So as a 19-year-old, I went from using computers every second of every day to not being able to touch one, not even being able to use the internet. We didn't have smartphones back then. And after 3 years of excellent behavior, I was actually able to get all of that lifted. So I was able to return to computers, actually use the computer once again. And I thought, okay, it changed something. It changed, when something's taken away from you, and then you're given this amazing opportunity, again, to be able to use technology. I thought, okay, well, I'm a hacker at heart, and I want to continue to break things and understand things, but how can I do this in a good way? How can I benefit people? How can I benefit the world in some way while I'm doing this? So I thought, okay, I'm going to do research in areas that people are not paying attention to, issues that concern all of us. So I turned my attention to other areas. I started looking at drones recently. I found drones are so cool. They're very interesting. We're using them constantly. More and more companies and governments are using them. But immediately I thought, we're not really looking at the security implications of drones. So I went out, I purchased the most ubiquitous drone, the most common drone out there, and found that it was flawed. Anyone could take it over. So to demonstrate this, I created my own drone. And on my drone, I created a little computer, and it flies around. So my drone flies around, seeking other drones, hacks into them, and then takes them over. And I released this as open source. It's called SkyJack, to demonstrate the issues there. These are things that we're using today commercially. Like, these can actually hurt people, right? They're also very useful. But we're not even paying attention to the problem that, in a few days, anyone can actually take over these things. And I thought there's so much interesting information out there, too, that we're not thinking about. So many amazing researchers and hackers and developers and just people thinking of crazy things. This is something called Gaydar that the MIT team created. They're able to go onto Facebook, and they can actually tell whether you're gay or not. Even if you don't say. Literally, from your information on Facebook, they can extract your sexual preference. Incredible. Please rob me. Whenever you go on Twitter or Facebook and you say, oh, I'm going to an event, I'm going to a movie, I'm going on vacation, this website says, go and rob this person. They're not home. This is information where it's there. We have, John McAfee. He started McAfee Antivirus. And he was wanted in connection to murder. So in his country, he had to run away. He had to go on the lam. And a reporter went with him, a reporter from Vice. They said, hey, they took a picture and uploaded it. And they forgot that when you take a picture, the exact GPS coordinates are in that photo. He was captured 3 days later because of the picture. He didn't even realize this. We have so much information that's going out that we're not even thinking about. Here's the Google Street View car. Whenever a Google car is driving around and taking pictures, they're also correlating that information. They're taking the Wi-Fi information of every network around, encrypted or not, and correlating it to GPS. So when you're on your laptop on a network and you go to a website, that website can get your physical address. And what I found, it's not just the Street View cars. It's Google Android and your Apple, your iPhone, your Microsoft Windows phone. All of these are global war-driving machines. If you have a smartphone in your pocket, it's collecting information about every Wi-Fi network around. It's correlating it with GPS signals. It's sending it up to all of these companies. And we don't even know. And for many years, we were not even able to turn it off. If you turned off GPS on your Apple iPhone or Microsoft Windows phone, it continued to track you, continued to send that information out without telling you. This is crazy things that are happening that we have to inspect and we need to look at more. And I thought the whole way to demonstrate that was to take the information that Google was collecting, and they're actually collecting your speed. So when you drive down the street, they know how fast you are, and that's how they show you Google Maps traffic. So I decided to take that information and make my own version that would send thousands and thousands of big requests saying I'm going 0 miles per hour down the road. So you would see a red row on a street, and you would be diverted to another road while I just had a clear road to drive on. So basically, there's information being leaked constantly and in such amazing ways that we don't know about or don't think about. I wanted to start thinking about this. Researchers have demonstrated taking a phone, placing it next to a computer, and it can then listen to the high-frequency sound made by the computer and extract your passwords. Literally take your passwords while emails are getting encrypted and pull that from thin air, from sound. People have demonstrated that, hackers have demonstrated that plugging in a device into the wall, they can see keystrokes that someone else is typing in another room, as long as that computer is connected to the same electrical circuit. From a different room entirely, they're reading your keystrokes. This is happening today, and we don't even know about it. This is actual devices that you can create. This is the worst. A bag of potato chips. If you see a bag of potato chips, you need to watch out. The group has demonstrated that behind even soundproof glass, if they can look at a bag of potato chips with a standard camera, if you're having a conversation in that room behind the soundproof glass, the vibration of our sound, of the air, will actually hit the bag of potato chips. The potato chips will vibrate, just slightly. You can take a camera, look at that vibration, and convert it back to sound. With a camera, a DSLR camera. This has been demonstrated just a year ago. It's incredible the information that people are able to take. E-cigarettes. People are now buying e-cigarettes online that have malware, that have a virus on them. So if you order, let's say, this specific e-cigarette from China, and it arrived, and you plugged it into your computer to charge, it would install a virus onto your computer. It would take your data and send it to someone else. We need to start thinking about the information and the devices that we're using. Everything is now a computer. This is not a cigarette, this is a computer. If you're plugging it into your computer, it has some sort of access. You need to start thinking about, where information is going. Any one of you can go out today and buy a camera, a FLIR camera. It's an infrared camera that sits on your phone. It sits on the back, and it shows you thermal imaging. So someone gets, let's say, a pin on their ATM. You can go up behind them, once they're done, take a picture, and you'll see the order in which they press the pin numbers. Anyone can do this. So we need to be more cognizant of the information that's going out, the security implications of all of this information, and to just think from now on, when you're buying a new device, when you're installing, let's say, an internet-based thermostat or a lock on your house or in your car, that is a computer. And when you're putting that information out online, on the internet, is that something you want someone else to know? Many of you are fine with that. But always think twice, and always think, is this something that I'm okay with anyone knowing and use it for or against me?